Before we start with the chapter work, I want to just go over fractions a little bit just to refresh your memory and just get the concept of these fractions in your head. You know fractions, you work with them, I'm sure, almost every day without even realizing it. So I've just got some simple illustrations on the board just to get you having some visuals of the fractions. So the first thing I have is an apple. It's apple season, so good to work with what's in season. So when we have an apple and we want to share it, we want to split it in two or split it in half. We know that we try our best to make it even down the middle. We break it into two, and that means we have 2 halves of an apple. Okay? So we have 2 parts, and one of these parts we would call half, which looks like this, because it's one of 2 parts. So that's what fractions are. They're parts of something that is whole. And the whole means usually a group. In this sense, it's a group of 2. So one part of a group of 2. Using that same idea here, if we had 2 chocolate bars and we were dividing them up to share. So first we had a chocolate bar here and we were deciding we had 4 people and we were sharing that into 4 pieces, and we gave away 2 of those pieces. Okay, so our whole group here is 4. Okay, what we gave away and what we have left is 2. So we have left 2 of 4. Okay, 2/4. In this other bar, we've split it into 3. And again, we're going to give away 1, and we're left with 2 pieces. Okay? Now, this group is 3, so the part that's left is 2. So we have 2/4 and 2/3. Looking at the bar and how it's broken up, you'll see that it's different sizing, right? These 3rd pieces are larger than these 1 of the 4th pieces, okay? So that's fine. We understand differences in different fractions meaning different things. So 2/3 is more of the chocolate bar than 2/4 of the chocolate bar. The tricky part comes in when we're wanting to add these together. So one of the rules of fractions is that you cannot add or subtract fractions when the bottoms are different. So this will start out the first of your paper where they're asking you to find an LCM or lowest common multiple. You also may know it as having a common denominator, or what I say, the bottoms have to be the same. The reason being, when we look at this, if we add this together, the parts aren't the same. We would now have then 5 parts of 7. So if we added, this would look like, say we had 2/4 plus 2/3, and we think we're just going to add the top and bottom, and it would be 4/7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But on understanding, these parts aren't equal. So this isn't equal. This can't happen, okay? Because it's not equal. People would not be getting equal parts, okay? So what we have to do is we have to make them equal to start with. So the bottoms are the same. That would make them equal. When we're looking for bottoms that are the same, it has to be a multiple of the bottom 2. So in this case, 3 times 4 is 12. So that means that's the lowest common multiple, the bottom number of those. It's common and it will work for both of them because 4 goes into 12 and 3 goes into 12. So now I want to break this up into 12 pieces on each. To do that, I have to split each one of these in 3. Okay, so 4 times 3, I've got 12 pieces here. This one, I've got to split each of these into 4. My drawing, they're not perfectly even, but you'll get the idea. So now each of them has 12 pieces. So they're starting with the same base. Okay, so over here, I'll do the base here is 12, and the base here is 12. So now of these 12 pieces on each, I've broken them up, made these smaller. So I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces if it was out of 12. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces if this was out of 12. So now we have the same bottoms and we have equivalent fractions. Okay, we made them equivalent so that we can compare them better. So now if you were to look where this ends at the 8 and this ends at the 6. Okay, if my drawing was better, they would actually be lined up now. So now if I add those, when I add, and in fractions you add only the top, so that gives us 14, and we keep the bottom, gives us 14 over 12. This is called an improper fraction because the top is larger than the bottom. And if we added it and we took this chunk and we added them on here, 14 goes past 12, so we'd have 2 more that would have to go on and be added here to take this chunk and put it up here. To add 8 here goes past this original size. So what we had then is it filled one hole and there were 2 12ths left over. Okay, so that's called simplifying, when we take this as improper and we make it a proper. Okay, this is called a proper or mixed fraction because it's a whole number with a fraction. Okay, so that is why we can't add. We don't add bottoms that are different because it doesn't come out equal. We have to make the bottoms same, so then they're equivalent and we can add or subtract them and come up with the proper share of the parts. Okay, so that's just a basic understanding of, this is probably the most complicated part of fractions. When it comes to multiplying and dividing, it's very simple. We don't have to work with this LCM. Okay, so I just wanted to start you with that, start understanding that, so when we start working on the pages, you're understanding why we're using the tools that we are. Okay? All right, so that video will start us. The next video will start the practice to see solutions.